Hello, welcome, and thanks for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gomansing. Topping on Newscast, the Joint Board of Elections met Monday on St. Croix after an almost 4-hour delay due to transportation problems. Once they did establish a quorum, it became clear that there would be a number of issues going into the general election. News2's Erica Parsons has the story.
The voting machine problems will not be fixed in time for the general election.
They have also told us they can't remedy this before November 4th, so this is the best thing we came up with.
The election systems contracted vendor ES&S won't address the issue of the glitch in the DS200 machines that isn't allowing party affiliations to symbol vote. Board members say they've worked out a solution.
We are going to not allow the voters to insert their ballots into the DS200 due to the inability of the DS200 and its program to record the votes as properly and as consistent with law as the board had thought it would happen. Those symbol votes, along with what we consider to be a spoilage in one category, would then be inspected by the Board of Elections and hand counted, as we used to always hand count the absentee ballots, because we don't want to throw out valid votes for individuals.
A majority of the joint board voted to approve the new plan, but it's not sitting well with all members.
Nobody should be touching a ballot but the individual who will be casting that ballot. No one else should have their hands on it. So therefore the individual should be able to process that through the machine. Not have it go where other board members will be counting it. We will be going back to the 2012 illegality where 3,000 ballots were missing.
St. Croix Board Chair Delbert Bryan said ES&S won't fix the machine glitch without $350,000, but he couldn't get any answers to what that charge may actually be for. Erica Parsons, News 2.
Board member Wilma Marsh Monsanto says the Democratic Party should have paid the $350,000 to host the primary. She says since senators broke the law by having elections pay for the primary, the Democrats should now repay that money to have the machines fixed. Meanwhile, Senator Alicia Hansen has been ordered off of the November 4th ballot by the VI Supreme Court. Friday evening, the High Court issued an opinion requesting that the elections supervisor remove the sitting senator's name from the general election ballot. Since May, the subject of Hansen's eligibility has been in the legal spotlight, and numerous proceedings have taken place, resulting in her name being on and then off again. This latest ruling by the local Supreme Court chastised the federal court for getting involved in a case where they lacked jurisdiction. The High Court also ordered elections to print new ballots without Hansen's name or cover her name on existing ballots. When asked how they will proceed, joint board officials declined to respond, saying they have not conferred with their legal counsel as yet. In the meantime, the St. Croix district has halted early voting. Count on 2 to keep you updated. All Vietnam veterans living in the Virgin Islands are invited to the 50th anniversary commemoration of the Vietnam War proclamation signing. That's on Friday, October 31st at 11 a.m. at Government House on St. Thomas. Now, this proclamation is the beginning of a long celebration for Vietnam veterans that ends in 2025. Just in time as we honor our veterans, according to Harry Daniel, during the month of October and November. Family members of Vietnam veterans are encouraged to attend with or on behalf of a loved one. For more information, you can call the Office of Veterans Affairs at 774-6100 or 773-6663. The Senate Committee on Justice and Homeland Security met Monday and approved Bill number 30-0494, which amends an existing law on how the territory handles cases of missing minors and dependent adults. Several government agency heads attended and gave some input, including Human Services and Port Authority. The VIPD also gave testimony. Police Assistant Commissioner Thomas Hanna stressed that the cooperation of guardians and parents are critical in properly dealing with these cases.
Missing persons' families are a vital link in this situation. We find that family members cannot assist as needed, as indicated above, in another important area, which is very, very important. Simply, where was the person last seen And who were they with, if with anyone? That was a problem that we faced with several minors who we found dead over the past several years. And the law enforcement community can only investigate to finding missing persons based on the information received.
In other news, WAPA held a dedication ceremony of the Gregory Willocks substation and the Estate Spanish Town solar facility today on St. Croix. Now in June, Toshiba International Corporation, which is the contractor for the Estate Spanish Town solar project, began pile driving for the solar panel racking system posts. The Virgin Islands Water and Power Authority and Toshiba Corporation broke ground on this 4-megawatt solar power project in Estate Spanish Town on St. Croix on August 16th, 2013. And be sure to count on 2. We'll have more from the groundbreaking ceremony. Police Department spokeswoman Melody Rains informed News 2 of a collision that occurred on October 26 on St. Croix. According to Rains, about 2:57 a.m., a citizen called 911 and reported a one-car collision on Turpentine Road, Run Road. The vehicle was a black 2003 Mitsubishi Lancer that was driving westward on Turpentine Road. The driver, 33-year-old Ninian Alexander, lost control and the right side of the vehicle collided with a tree. Alexander expired on the scene, according to police. Rames said no other information is available at this point. 2 men were sentenced in district court late last week for cocaine-related charges. District Court Judge Curtis Gomez sentenced Hector Mejia Patino, 26, to 67 months in prison with 5 years of supervised release and $100 special monetary assessment. The plea agreement indicated that Mejia Patino participated in telephone conversations in 2013 to conduct a transaction involving multiple kilograms of cocaine. Walter Hill Jr., 48, was also sentenced. He received a minimum of 20 years in prison, 10 years of supervised release, and a $300 special assessment. Hill was also given 300 hours of community service and ordered forfeiture of property. A federal jury had convicted Hill in March of conspiracy to possess and possession with intent to distribute cocaine and use of a communication facility for a drug crime. The Virgin Islands National Guard recognized 35 members of its Air National Guard component during a ceremony that was held on Saturday. The event took place at the 285th Civil Engineering Squadron at Manning Hill across from the Roebuck Industrial Park on St. Croix. The highlight of the Air Guard ceremony, Colonel Jeffrey Buckley, was awarded the Legion of Merit for his years of meritorious performance. He retired from the VI National Guard in March 1st, 2014. The Legion of Merit is conferred on officers and enlisted men of the armed forces of the United States and on nationals of other countries who have distinguished themselves in the performance of outstanding services. The Teachers Union hosted its annual Teach Conference in both districts, and schools were closed today. On Friday, it was held for the St. Thomas and St. John teachers, and then Monday was for the St. Croix educators. The St. Croix chapter also took opportunity to hold a straw poll for the upcoming general election.
The theme is reclaiming the promise in public education in the Virgin Islands. All of our members are here today. We are providing them with professional development in their discipline. It's up to the members to select which professional development they would like to attend. And of course, we have excellent presenters who are here to engage them and stimulate them with all of the new and upcoming trends in education.
We have national presenters that came from the National AFT. We have our own members who participated in a training last summer, and it has been ongoing. It's the ER&D, Educational Research and Dissemination Program, is the professional development arm of the union. And a lot of our members have been going to the national training and getting trained in certain strands. It may be instructional strategies. It includes math, reading, literature, and it goes on.
As you know, we have our upcoming election. It's going to be very exciting. We just want to poll our members to see, what it's going to look like on November 4th. Of course, it's not an endorsement of any of the candidates.
Well, turning our attention overseas, nurse Kachi Hickox was headed home to Maine today after testing negative for Ebola. She was being held under quarantine against her will in an indoor medical tent since Friday after arriving in New Jersey from Sierra Leone, where she was treating Ebola patients. Hickox hired a lawyer and was threatening to sue, saying she was completely healthy all along and that the conditions she was kept under were inhumane. In other news, hours after community gathered Sunday to grieve for the victims of Friday's shooting at Marysville High School, then came word 14-year-old Gia Soriano died early this morning after being shot in the head by a fellow student. Soriano becomes the second teen killed by freshman Jalen Freeberg when he opened fire in the school cafeteria, killing student Zoe Galasso. Freeberg then killed himself. 3 students remain hospitalized. Days later, no one knows what motivated Freeberg. Well, keeping our eye on the economy, Toyota is once again the world's top automaker. The company says it sold a record 7.6 million vehicles in the first 9 months of the year. Volkswagen came in second and General Motors third. Here's a look at the New York Stock Exchange with our stock market watch. The Dow, NASDAQ up and S&P down. The Dow 12, NASDAQ 2, S&P down 2. Coming up on News 2, so you did your usual self-breast check and found a lump. What do you do? What's normal and what's not? Well, doctors remind you that it does not always indicate cancer. Details coming up. So you did your usual self-breast check and found a lump. Doctors say don't panic. More than half of all women occasionally have lumpy, painful, and swollen breasts. The good news is that 9 out of 10 breast lumps are not cancer, but just benign conditions. Lumpiness in generalized areas of both breasts is often an indication of fibrocystic breasts, but don't risk it. Be sure to get it checked out because doctors say fibrocystic breasts do put you at increased risk for breast cancer.
Some women have very lumpy breasts, some women have very tender breasts. Lumps come and go. But the important thing is to pay close attention to whether or not those lumps are changing in size. You know, if you see a lump that's getting bigger and not going away, or a new lump appears that was never there before, and depending on how it feels too. You know, a person knows their body best, better than the doctor or anybody else. And so that's why it's important to do the breast exam on a regular basis. Another important point is when doing the breast exam, it's best not to do it during the monthly period cycle, because during that time the breast becomes very lumpy. So it's better to examine the breast either before the period or after the period.
The Making Strides Against Breast Cancer walk, sponsored by the American Cancer Society and the Sigma Theta Omega and Rho chapters of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, they brought out many who shared in efforts to continue the fight against breast cancer. Survivors were saluted on Sunday. The walk began at the Austin Bay Monsanto Marine Terminal in Crown Bay and ended at the Emancipation Garden. The event honored those who have battled breast cancer, raised awareness, and raised funds for the American Cancer Society in their quest to fight the disease with research and access to mammograms for women who need them. There was a Zumba warm-up, raffles with prizes from Pandora, Cardell Jewelers, and Innovative, as well as the highly anticipated fun-filled Most Creative Bra and Outfit contest. Well, Patient Assist VI Inc. is the beneficiary of $5,000 for the 3rd year in a row. Avent Therapeutics Management, which is a global private equity firm focused on the development of new medicines, made a $5,000 donation to the local nonprofit Patient Assist VI Inc., founded in 2007 by biopharmaceutical industry veterans Stephen Evenfreak and Dr. Peter B. Kaur. The firm is an investment advisor for the Avent Therapeutics Fund, with its principal place of business in the U.S. Virgin Islands. They are a local beneficiary of the EDC. PAVI is a nonprofit organization that was founded in 2012 and offers patient advocacy services free of charge to individuals in need. Several presenters comprising of authors, educators, journalists, poets, and storytellers participated in the 2014 National Day on Writing workshop that was held at the Lou Muckle Elementary School last Monday. Teachers who have received training with the Virgin Islands Writing Project led that effort in the day's celebration. Students from the St. Croix Educational Complex and the University of the Virgin Islands also came out to lend their expertise on writing to students. Lou School teacher Juliet Miller and Nayla Knight James read to students. Cultural bearer Wayne Peterson read Caribbean Tales. Journalist Abdullah Lee coached fourth grade students in writing activities. The University of the Virgin Islands made HBCU history for the most number of alumni who gave back to the institution. Almost 53% of UVI alumni made pledges and donations for fiscal year 2014. It placed UVI at the top of the list on alumni giving rates. They missed their 50% goal last year, but this time they exceeded their aim. The university is already gearing up for the next fiscal year's challenge, calling it First to 50 Champions back in the winner's circle. Well, be sure to stick around. Your News2 Oct weather forecast is coming up next.